We can find exponential function rules from both tables and graphs. When we're trying to identify the function rule, we need to find both the start value a as well as the growth factor. The start value is not any different than any other table or graph. Start value will be the output when x is 0, so the start value is f of 0. That's found in the row of the table where x equals 0. So the start value for this table is 3. The growth factor, I'm trying to figure out what I am multiplying by to go from one row to the next. So what am I multiplying to get from 3 to 15, from 15 to 75, from 75 to 375? In this particular case, you can probably just eyeball that I'm multiplying by 5. If you couldn't do that, you can figure out what you're multiplying by. What am I multiplying 3 by to get 15? By dividing a particular y value by the previous y value. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. 75 divided by 15 is 5. 375 divided by 17 is 5. Now we have the start value and the growth factor. My function rule is 3 times 5 to the x, making sure to either have f of x or y equals. From our graph, start value also easily identified. The start value here is also 3. Now for the growth factor, you have to pick any 2 points. It's fine to have one of those points be the start value. In fact, it's a great idea. And then another subsequent point, so x equals 1, y equals 6. I'm going to go ahead and identify this one too. X equals 2, y equals 12. And now we have to use this division. So I have to do one y value divided by a previous y value. So 6 divided by 3, or 12 divided by 6. In either case, I see that the growth factor is 2. So I'm multiplying by 2 to get from one point to the next. That means my function rule is f of x equals 3 times 2 to the x. Here's another easy one. Start value of 12. I know that this is times 3. If I didn't, I could do 108 divided by 36, or 36 divided by 12. That gives me a growth factor of 3. Function rule, start value, a equals 12, times b to the x times, so in this case, times 3 to the x. Start value, what is my y-intercept? It's 0, 2. That means my start value is 2. Next point is x equals 1, y equals 8. That tells me my growth factor is 4. I'm multiplying y by 4 to get from one value to the next. F of x, or y, equals 2 times 4 to the x. Here's one where we start to see why we would need to do that division. Obvious start value of 10. Now the growth factor is a little trickier. It is 15 divided by 10, which is 1.5. So it is okay for a growth factor to be a decimal. So the function rule here is f of x equals 10 times 1.5 to the x. I'm going to go ahead and check that 22.5 divided by 15 is also 1.5. 22.5 divided by 15. Yep, also 1.5. So my repeated multiplication is by 1 5/10, or 1.5.